Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Brian. Today, we're going to be looking at the first half of the Sandland anime series. And why the first half is because the first half follows the Fiend Prince story arc. What is that? That is essentially the first half of this series is a direct result or direct translation, adaptation of the manga itself. Now, I read the manga a few days ago and binge all the episodes available. And this story arc is a very faithful adaptation to the manga. It's not a panel by panel recreation, which is something some people want. I kind of like the fact that it cut a few little things out that didn't need to be there to make the story a little smoother overall. And I enjoyed this entire first half of the series. Now, Akira Toriyama passed away this past March, and he created some of the characters for the second story arc. He didn't have a hand in creating uh, the manga itself, but he did create the story outline, the characters of what to continue this story. So while the second half isn't directly written and created fully by Toriyama, he did have a hand in setting it up. And also, both these arcs and these worlds are available in the game. I just downloaded it on Steam. I plan on playing it here in a few minutes to give it a go. And honestly, it looks fun. Now, I know some of y'all probably see pulled up. I have the dub pulled up. Yes, I do watch the dub. I'm not a purist. Like some people like, oh, you should watch the sub because it's the original. And I'm like, well, if there is a dub, I'm going to watch it because then I can hear what's going on and what people are saying, and I can put my full vision into the art and the visual aspects of the entire episode without having to function simultaneously reading. I'm not against subs. I grew up watching anime in the early 90s, and yeah, that's all we had. We didn't have dubs. So we got used to it. And but this is a CG animation. Now, they use computer graphics to create this whole series, and it looks well done. It looks like it was hand drawn. It has the aspects of looks like you would see in a really well polished Dragon Ball series, like Toriyama would have wanted. And you can tell it's CG right away, and we've seen some bad versions of that. The one of the seasons of Seven Deadly Sins, I forget which one, which follows Meliodas' his kid, and and Bond's kid. That one just looks awful. It looks very off-putting. And then you got like the Superman RWBY. It just doesn't look good. But RWBY is that way in general, so that's the reason it's that way. But this CG anime looks incredible. These characters are well done, well fleshed out. So what is this anime? Well, let's break down the story besides the fact that I loved it so far. I can't wait to finish the story arc, the last episode drops next week, and I'll do a review after that once I've watched the whole story. But what it is Sandland is a post-apocalyptic world set way into the future, and due to war, it's become a barren wasteland. And the source of water is controlled by the king. And finally, a sheriff in a town gets really fed up and goes to where demons are known to hang out to recruit a demon or demons to help him find the spring that the government's using to return water back to his city and to everyone else. That's it. It's a very simple plot line, and there's some elements that are brought into. There's another race that's brought into the story. The Opie? I forgot their names now. but a race that was trying to develop technology to create water in this post-apocalyptic world. Now, because of this, you've got uh, demons need water. They're more human-like than actual like demons, and they need water too, just as humans to survive. But it all comes down to being controlled by the government, and they're like, "This is water. We need it to survive. If we don't get it, we die," and it's outrageous. And so they're just journeying across the desert, fighting off the king's army, looking for the water source. And you start to get the history of what happened. Slowly, it's revealed who everyone is and how they were involved in the creation of this post-apocalyptic world. And it's just well done. The characters are spot on, just perfect representations of the characters they should be in the roles they play. This is a great anime. And I truly think this is just one of those where, even though they say the word hell a couple of times, mostly referring to where the demons came from, this is a great anime for anybody. It's so good. I really enjoyed this first half, and I watched the first few episodes of the second half of the new story arc, and it looks great. You definitely see, you definitely know this is Toriyama because you see all the compares, you see similar features. I mean, this Beelzebub that you see here on the screen is the Prince of Demons, and I mean he looks a lot like Cell. You see insect warriors that look like Cell's other transformation. You see other characters. You see, start to see just, you know, this is a Toriyama anime, and I thoroughly was just like, wow, this is good. And this was written years ago, I think back in 2000 or maybe before, and it was just released chapter by chapter, just as a personal project into the Shogun Jump magazine. So there's about 14 chapters, I think. And so it's a real short story. And I think the tragedy is Toriyama set this great world to explore and just things, and we're just, due to his passing, we're not going to get that. He never really did much with this property that he created. Aside from last year, they did release an animated movie of it in Japan that's hand drawn animation style, but looks, I mean, at first glance, looks a lot like this CG animation, and it's very faithful to the anime to the manga itself. And both of these are great. The movie is, it's cut a little different. There's a little more added things in this anime to make it longer, of course. That some they pull from the manga, some they just kind of added in, and it all works. It's great. It's just a fun show. For 6 episodes, you just see basically an old man in a tank with two little side demons that are coming along for the journey to find water to save the world. And it's just a nice anime that is just really, I would say it's family friendly. And this is one of those ones that I'm probably going to watch multiple times. I'm probably just, it's going to be one of those shows that I'm going to just pull up Hulu, just put it on the TV while I walk around the house doing things and doing chores, just boom. It's just on in the background, like, oh yeah, I remember that part. Just, it's just going to be a comfy show to rewatch over and over again. I am sad that we may or may not get more. It's speculative, but it is seeming to be very popular because we got the anime release this year. We had the movie release last year in Japan, and the game just dropped yesterday that explores everything that we see in the anime. And the reviews are kind of mid, but I'm a cozy type gamer. I'm not looking into just full on immersive, just testing my skills. I like the game to have fun, and that's what the game looks like. So I can't wait to start it up and get going. But really, I think everyone should give this anime. If you're a fan of animation, cartoons, anything in that vein, this is just a good story that, despite not being what some people like, as far as when it comes to animation, it's a good, heartwarming story, and I really enjoy it, and I think you will too. So, I honestly, seriously, there's a few little things I might have changed or added, but seriously, 9.5 out of 10. This is just perfect. Uh, we'll have to see how the second half of this anime series turns out next week. But until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.